reporters from Asheville and Bunker.
From the newsroom to the nursery,
we're juggling a demanding career on live TV with the demands of motherhood.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Karen.
They are AnchorMOMS.
Don't mind me just taking a selfie.
It's like, what's happening here? Okay. All right, ready?
Yep. Do you want me? Let me start because I feel like you always start, and like I feel
I do always start, and I always say the same thing. Yes.
Okay.
You start.
All right. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to another episode of AnchorMOMS, the podcast. I just realized my coffee cup was right there where the camera is.
Ah, yes. If you missed the last couple of episodes, you may not know, but exciting news, we are on YouTube.
It's been a journey.
We have
been a journey.
Video cameras in here now, which is a lot.
I will say this. This is like a little behind the scenes podcasting, if you will. So yeah, Karen and I in a new studio adjusting to these new cameras. Because usually, I mean, prior to this, it didn't matter what we looked like. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter what we did. And Matthew, our editor, who is literally the brains behind AnchorMOMS.
And maybe a saint, maybe.
And a saint and just an overall tremendous human being. He was like, so for this week's episode, Katie, how about a little less hand movement? Like if you could just not move your arms. And I was like, oh.
Apparently, okay. Katie is a much more of a hand talker than I am. And fun fact, if you don't know this, cameras these days are AI and think they know where you want them to turn. So Katie is using her hands too much and causing the cameras to go haywire and turn. Last week, at one point, all 3 cameras were on Katie.
It was like I was inadvertently. See, I'm doing it right now.
You're doing it right now.
Okay.
Put your hands down.
It was
Sit on
like,
your hands.
I was cueing the cameras without meaning to cue the cameras. I don't know. I'm a hand talker. Okay.
Listen, Katie.
Karen.
Guess what?
What?
I had a dream about you last night.
What?
Yes. I
had a dream about you. Say more.
And the crux of it was, I don't remember what the announcement was, but you had made some announcement, like a big life announcement on social media. And I don't know what it was because that would be the juiciest part of the story. But I was scrolling through my feed and saw that you had posted this and was so upset that you didn't tell me in real life first before you posted said announcement. It had something to do with your health.
I know, which is kind of scary.
Like, I think it was almost like I don't know.
Was it good? Was it bad?
I feel like in my head it wasn't great.
Oh, I hope it's not a premonition. Do your dreams come true?
No, not usually. I don't know. It wasn't, I can't, I don't know. But the problem was in my head, I would think it wasn't that bad because I was less concerned with your actual announcement and more concerned with the fact that you hadn't told me. I was very offended that you hadn't told me whatever this thing was before you posted it.
Well, that's ridiculous because you know most of the things happening in my life before my husband, my kid, sometimes even before I know it, I feel like you know it.
Anyway, it's always fascinating to me. Wait, do you remember your dreams? I remember my dreams a lot, and they are very crazy.
So I don't have that many dreams. Occasionally,
you don't sleep that much,
right? Because there's just not a lot of hours in which dreams could occur. Yes, sometimes I do, but it's rare that I even have a dream. I'm dead inside, actually.
I have really bizarre dreams. The night before, I had a dream.
How do you remember all of this? This is so bizarre.
They're very real.
Okay.
Like they're like those dreams that you can't like break out even though you know you're dreaming.
Really?
The night before, I was dreaming that I went to drop my kids off at the first day of school, but somehow it was like connected to Dollywood, which if you're not familiar, Dollywood is like an amusement park that's a couple of hours from here. And is lovely. And yeah, so it was, and so with the kids, and I was like, oh guys, we're here early. Maybe we can like get in a couple rides before your first day of school.
This sounds lovely.
And then I misplaced my like purse or bag or something. And it was like this bit, most of the dream was spent me trying to like take the kids all around Dollywood to try to find my bag.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do
We need
you-
to bring, maybe we could find a, aren't there people who like
Yeah.
dissect your dreams?
I used to have this book. In fact, now I'm going to go home and look for it. Back when I was young and still had energy and hope for the future, I used to have this dream book. It was like a dream interpretation book. It might still be hanging around. Should I go and look for it? I mean, I don't know if Dollywood is in there, you know?
Yeah, interesting stuff. So yeah, I don't know. But I guess my point is, if you have something big to tell me, you better tell me before you post it on social media.
So that would never happen because I like to think that I would have enough etiquette not to do that. But as you were telling the story, I was reflecting on the fact there are 2 instances in my life when people this is like a whole etiquette thing, by the way.
Right.
This is like a whole thing.
Like you should tell your good friends and family things before you post about it to the masses.
I remember Brian, we got engaged, and oh my God, this was like 11 or 12 years ago at this point, and he would not let me post about it on social media until he literally informed like it was like a week and a half later. A week and a half later. But I will say this.
I wasn't on social media when we got engaged.
It's wild.
Crazy.
What was happening there? Why not?
Because
No, it existed for
It
sure.
existed. I know. I was going to say I hated it, which that's strong. I didn't want to do it.
I mean, just Facebook. I think that was, or like MySpace. I don't know what was around back then.
I was Facebook, but I remember being like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. This seems silly.
Really?
Yeah.
So I do have, without saying too much, I have had people announce things on social media that I was offended about that I didn't know in person. Like I found out through Facebook.
Yeah, I feel like there is. You're right. It's an etiquette thing, and there is a little bit of that. Like, oh, wait, why would you not have told me that?
Yeah, it feels very impersonal. Impersonal. Saying that right? Yeah, feels not personable to find out.
I don't know that that's the right term, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Oh,
not personable? Is that a word?
I don't know.
Impersonal.
Impersonal.
Right?
That's what I said. Impersonal.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't like it. Don't do it. And
we don't know the word, but we don't want you to do it. Okay.
Don't want you to do it. It does not feel good. And plus, you already know everything there is to know about my life, so you don't have to worry. And if you have any other dreams, like perhaps there's a follow up to whatever the health scare was.
Yeah, I'll let you know. If it happens tonight, I'll inform you first thing tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. Send me a text. Post it on Facebook.
So listen, our first article is from Fox Business. Parents putting off paying bills, buying groceries in order to pay for back to school expenses. This is a big talker because I was shocked to learn that the average parent, spends $875 per kid on back to school supplies. Now, this is, the supply list that your teachers send, the clothes, the shoes, the equipment, the fees, all the things. I will say, unrelated, I did which that seemed so high to me. I just spent $865, which is basically the same, on one semester of ballet for one kid.
Wait, what?
Yesterday.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That's like breaking news.
Classes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you start to roll in extracurricular activities as well, I could totally see where this number climbs.
Not to mention the leotards and the cost of whatever the recital is.
Yeah.
Right?
Anyway, back to school. 60, in this article, it says 60% of Gen Z and millennial parents prioritize back to school supplies over necessities. It also talks about how the cost for back to school supplies has gone up 25% in the last 4 years. This is the big shocker. 30% of parents say they are willing to go into debt just to pay for back to school supplies.
And do you think that's because they think their kids genuinely need these supplies?
I don't know.
Do you think it's because it's kind of that if you show
Like
up with not the correct school supplies or the school supplies requested, there's some sort of stigma? What is
probably
that?
a little bit of both. I do think there's definitely this sense of keeping up with the Joneses. I need to have my kids in perfect little outfits with the little chalkboard and I think there is a lot more around it. I mean,
Hold on a second. So this is what I was kind of questioning last week. When I think of school supplies, I think of like paper, pens, pencils.
Right.
But we're
This
saying
is
we're like extending the definition of school supplies here, right?
I think so. I think this is
Okay.
definitely including clothing,
Okay.
which, very would definitely raise the price significantly. Yeah, I think that, and I think too, as your children get older, does that include like an iPad or, some more expensive
Yeah.
devices, perhaps? I don't know. Our kids aren't there yet. We did find out LRA is entering the recorder year
What's that
at
mean?
school.
Is that the like recorder?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I was like, I didn't know if you meant like a tape recorder.
No,
but then I was
no.
like, it's 2024. Like nobody has
the
tape
musical
recorders.
instrument, which that's I think $20. That's not a big expense, but it just made me realize
let's back up for a second because I need to.
they're still doing recorders.
And
Yes,
where, like,
yes.
why?
Mhm.
Where do you use your recording skills? Are you a what is your
Professional recorder?
Yeah, like
I don't
does
think
that
so.
exist? And like what?
I don't know.
What?
But I don't know any of the answers to these questions. All I know is like there was a recorder sheet in with her teacher assignment. But I'm bringing this up to say, do you have to rent an instrument for band?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? I think that as your children get older, there's the back to school list is not just notebooks and
Sure,
pencils.
sure.
It starts to grow quite significantly. So I think that's why this price tag is so high. It makes me really sad, though, that parents are having to, 30% having to go into debt just to cover back to school supplies. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah. It would be interesting. What did your parents go out for back to school when you were a kid?
No.
I can't remember. I don't remember it being a thing.
It wasn't, like everything, it wasn't as big of a deal then, I think, as it is now. Everything, it just feels like is more of a show, if you will. More of a event.
But I do think, in all honesty, there are some supplies that you do have to buy for your kid.
Yeah.
And you do have to, you probably do need to at some point buy your kid new shoes and new clothes, right?
Yeah. We're lucky to have hand-me-downs, but not everybody is. You don't have the same hand-me-down channel that we have. We're Greg and I are both the youngest. So we have all of our brother and sister's kids are all older. So it all funnels down to us, and we're the last. So it just ends here.
Yeah.
And it is interesting. There's a lot of, there's some things that have literally gone through 9 grandchildren. Like
It's
9
wild.
kids in my family. And which we're very fortunate because it is the clothing alone gets very costly.
I will take full responsibility for this because I love some clothes. So it's never a hardship for me to buy River some clothes.
Some
but
cute things.
we don't. My sister has 2 little boys, and then Brian, his sisters, their kids are. So my sister-in-laws are awesome in that they'll hand me down jammies and like winter coats and stuff. But I can't. My oldest niece on that side of the family is 12.
Which also comes into
13,
the other
12,
like
13,
you got to store this stuff. Gregory is like, oh my gosh, the day that we can get rid of all these clothing bins. Like every time our youngest, Sam gets old enough to move out of a clothing bin, he's like, yes, another bin out of here. You know?
Well, are you close? You got how long's the train go?
Oh my gosh, to like 16.
Now, do you think that Ella Ray is going to be balking at wearing hand-me-downs when she's like 15 or 16?
That's a good question.
This is where things get a little, I'm interested to see. Knowing Ella Ray, she's so chill.
I don't think she will. Bennett, I could definitely see being like, nah, I'm not wearing this.
Yeah.
Like, I want some newer clothes. And it is interesting because even the hand-me-downs we have, I'm like my oldest niece, some of these clothes are from her, and she is 20.
Yeah.
So, some of them you can tell, oh, wow, this is a trend from long ago.
Right.
It's
like the cold shoulder tops. You got any of those?
Like it's very interesting to go through because you can tell like, oh, this must have been from this family member. Or this must have been from them. And yes, Ella Ray does not care. It's funny. I was one of the influencers that I follow. Her kid is entering 4th grade, which is the same age as Ella Ray. And I saw her post her back to school photo of her kid. And I was like, wow, that is the trendiest
What was it?
It was just a real cute outfit ensemble, but like the shoes and the socks and the outfit and these really cool glasses. And I was just thinking in my head, wow, that is like the hippest, trendiest, most fashionable fourth grader. I mean, Ella Ray could wear like shorts and shirt that are, again, 20 years old hand-me-downs that don't match and be totally fine. But it was funny because I was like, oh, wow. We are getting to the age where you can't just
kids
like
care.
throw them into whatever. Some kids will care. I think Bennett will care. I think she's much pickier about what she wears. So yeah, it is interesting.
River does not care. Sometimes much
Which is
to my
hilarious
chagrin.
because
I know.
you do care.
This is like the universe. Like this is karma.
Coming at ya.
I'm literally like, girl, what is happening? And Brian's like, what? Like,
who cares? She's
who
6.
cares?
Yeah.
Like, are you really going to die on this hill? And I'm like, oh, yay.
The clothes that you give to Bennett from River, since she's a bit, just like size-wise, she can usually fit into them. And Bennett is very conscious of like, this came from River. It's nice stuff.
I got you, Bennett.
She
I got you, Benny.
wants the fashionable River clothes versus the hand-me-downs that like Ella Ray's already gone through. Yeah,
Well,
she's like already attuned to it. So
I'll keep spreading it.
Even if River doesn't appreciate the fine fashion that you give, don't worry, my daughter does.
Bennett is. I do think it's funny. So we saw you guys at the pool, and there's this little strawberry bathing suit that is so cute. I just love it. It was my favorite bathing suit of River's. And River and Bennett are about the same. They're about 6 months apart, but River's just
she's taller. Yeah, she's taller. Yeah.
So she can wear some of Bennett's stuff. And so River saw Bennett wearing her old strawberry bathing suit. And she was like, I didn't know I was like, should I tell her or not? And it went okay. But she was like, oh, Bennett, like I love that bathing suit. I used to have one just like that. And mom always said it was her favorite. And I was like, what if I told you that is yours?
That's yours.
And she was like, oh, great.
Yeah.
I was like,
you never know though. How
yeah, you never know, kids. So yeah, I don't know what the answer to this is. We had a couple of tips on last week's episode. One of my favorite tips for saving for back to school, one that I am utilizing myself this year, is you don't have to get everything all at once. So there were a couple of things like River's lunchbox was very dirty and she really did need a new backpack because it was just old. The zipper was breaking. I did get those, but there were some socks and shoes. River wears a uniform to school. I think I said this on last week's episode. And she needs some new sweaters, but I was like, you know what?
We'll wait.
It's the South. Like River's not really going to need a sweater until October. There's like a used uniform sale at the beginning of the year. Like I'm just going to wait it out and see before I spend that money. So, my sister brought up a good point. She has 2 older stepkids and then 2 younger kids. But, so the stepkids they're 13 and 11. These school kids, the ages are tough for me to remember, all these nieces and nephews. Anyway, she had mentioned that sometimes you get these school supply lists and you don't really know what they're going to be used for. And so you go and buy this stuff and then a week into school, you're like, oh, that 3-ring binder, I would have gotten a different binder had I known it was going to be used for this, or I would have gotten a different pencil case if I knew it was going to be coming back and forth. It's not a bad idea if you're able to wait until you see what do they really need? What is the real function of this?
Right. So our school, I will say, is good. Everything's shared. So it says on there, the only thing that you put a label on and your kids specifically will use are their headphones.
Oh, I love that.
Like everything else is going to go into a big pot and every kid's going to get one. So like, don't worry about getting like a fancy pencil case or like everybody needs a red, yellow, and green folder.
Right.
But like your kid might not get the one you sent in.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, it is, which kind of does take the pressure off a little bit. Now, ask me how many back to school supplies I bought.
I already know the answer to this. 0. Which is
I told you, I'm like, not a thing.
Because
we just got the list in the mail a couple days
this.
ago, and I have a week and a half. So it'll get done in the next week and a half. I don't know how, but it'll get done.
Are you going to go to the store or are you going to order
I'm going to
online?
do what I always do. I'm going to do some research when I have time, which I don't know when that will be, to find, because there's a big cost difference sometimes between Target and,
Insert Walmart,
Amazon. Yeah. So I found last year I tried to do a bunch of it on Amazon, and I felt like they like jacked up the prices like on purpose because it was back to school and they knew people were like me waited too long and like.
Well, I did buy. Brian was making fun of me. I bought River's backpack and lunchbox in June, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I just got this coupon, and I'm like gonna do
Katie,
this."
You are. Katie might start crying. Katie might just go ahead and like go to my house and take my back to school list and go ahead and buy them.
If you want me to, I can.
She is in a state right now that I have not bought any back to school things.
I know
for any of my 4 children.
I'm feeling very anxious about it, but I know you, and I know you will get it done. Let me tell you what I do like to get done.
Tell me.
One of my favorite things, and I'm not
cleaning.
Yes, I wish I was kidding about this, but I'm being like. I might have mentioned this before on the podcast, but like Brian one time, this is just a couple weeks ago, he came home and he was like, you need to not vacuum right now and just take some time for yourself. Like if you vacuumed less, you would have more time for yourself. And I was like, well, I'm going to quote that on the podcast because that sounds lovely.
There you go.
But
you
I
do clean a lot.
I just feel, I like it. So, we just got on that note, and I feel like this is good. This is a good recommendation because you know that I'm passionate about my cleaning products. Yeah. Okay. So we just got this. We have a senior cat, a senior dog, and a 6-year-old. We have all wood floors in our house, but all these area rugs. And unfortunately, the animals have had more accidents than I care to. I'm moving my arms again. I'm moving my hands again.
Strap them down.
Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, so we've had a lot of accidents. We were renting a carpet cleaner, and finally Brian was like, should we just buy a carpet cleaner?
Just out of curiosity, how much is the rental?
I don't know.
Like Brian $50 a pop, probably.
Like 40, 50, but it was getting to the point where we were doing it once or twice a month. It would most often happen when we would go out of town. The animals we'd have a pet sitter, and the animals would be stressed, and then we would come home and have to do this, to rent a carpet cleaner. So he was like, what, should we just get one? And I was like, well, nobody has to tell me, like I'm on it, like another cleaning tool, that's fine. So we got the Bissell Little Green multi-purpose portable carpet and upholstery cleaner. I got it on Amazon. I got it on sale, but last time I checked, it's $123.
Which isn't bad.
No. Well, and so this is what I will say. Here's what's great about it. It is portable. So you move it around, you carry it around. It doesn't have wheels. So it's perfect for us because the places that we're cleaning are like these, area rugs, the couch cushion,
the stairs.
I was saying we have carpeted stairs up from our basement, and a lot of people come in through the garage, through the basement, up the stairs, and they just were looking rough. So if you have, I would say this would not be ideal for somebody who is looking for a carpet cleaner to clean like a whole carpeted upstairs or even like a whole entire room. This is more of like a spot cleaner or like a rug cleaner. But our carpeted stairs, which we carpeted them, I don't know, 7 years ago before River, but right before River. So 7 years or so, they looked rough. Brian was like, these stairs, like this looks like new carpet. And I was very pleased with that reaction.
Yeah.
So
Huge
we're going to link it. We'll link it in the show notes. But if you're in the market for this sort of thing, our morning meteorologist here actually was the one who recommended it. He likes to clean as well. He loves his. He uses it actually for their cars. They clean the upholstery in their cars with it. So,
well, we never spill anything at our house. So I don't think we'll need it.
I figured. I knew that you guys actually did not need a carpet cleaner. But
no, actually, we don't actually have any carpet in our house. But I think we could definitely use it for the sofas and
do not have any rugs?
Things.
No rugs?
We have a couple of rugs, yeah. Honestly, several of them are the
washable ones, the ruggables?
Ruggables, yeah. But I mean, still.
Yeah.
I love it. I love a good, easy cleaning.
Yeah.
Solution.
You'll like this one. Okay, moving on. This next episode is from Newsweek, and this is people have thoughts on this. This is, the title is a PSA slamming U.S. children's portions goes viral. So it's a mom who gets on her TikTok and she is calling out the quantity piled on her child's plate at a restaurant. it should be noted that the restaurant is, it just popped out of my head. What's the place? Cheesecake Factory. Cheesecake Factory.
Yes.
So they're known for their huge portions.
I haven't been there in a long time.
I haven't been there. We don't have a Cheesecake Factory here in Asheville. So anyway, so she illustrates her point in this TikTok. She films her young daughter eating a reduced serving of pasta. She shows like the pasta and the meatball coming at the table and then sort of scrapes onto her daughter's plate like what she thinks is an appropriate portion. And man, people on social media have thoughts about this.
So I think it's interesting that she's from England.
Yes.
Right? And
Yep.
so she's saying this is an America problem.
Yeah.
In America, your restaurants give your kids too much food.
Mhm.
We are a big leftover family.
Mhm.
So I am totally fine if there's too much food and we take some of it home for the next day. But I don't think she's wrong.
About portion sizes?
Right. My bigger thing is like, what is the cost size ratio, right? Like if I'm paying $9 for a kid's meal, yes, give me a big portion because I can, as this
Take it
mom
home.
did, split it in half and take it home. But I mean, I don't want like a tiny bit if I'm paying an exorbitant price. In general, I think personally, the kids' prices are just too high.
For kids' meals.
Yes. I mean, I don't know. I feel like in other cities, it's probably better. In Asheville, almost every time we go out to eat, the kids' meal is $8 or $9.
Mhm.
And it's,
Buttered pasta.
buttered pasta, mac and cheese, a chicken finger, and like a applesauce squeezy or
Yeah.
whatever, and every time I see the price, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm spending this much money on this.
On buttered pasta.
Yes. So I think that's my personally, my bigger complaint is the price rather than the size. But I do think she's right. And we've talked about this a little bit before, but I do think that there is something to be said for, teaching children the appropriate amount to eat. I do think as a society, oftentimes we feel like we, whether right or wrong, need to clean our plate. And, if we're presented with this huge dish, I don't know. I don't want to teach my child that you have to eat it all because we bought it or we paid $9 for it or
Mhm.
whatever. So I do think it would be nice if the portions were appropriate, I
Mhm.
guess. What do
Yeah.
you think?
I think a lot of the people said basically the same thing that you're saying is that a lot of the responses to her TikTok is just that like this is what's great about this is now you have leftovers, which
Mhm,
I mean I don't
mhm.
disagree with.
But some people aren't leftover families.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's some people who don't really want to do the leftovers. I do think sometimes, depending on what it is, it doesn't perhaps taste good the next day or, might not reheat well. I don't know. I mean, for kids stuff, probably fine because it's just, junk anyway, mostly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I'll be honest with you. I don't love eating leftovers myself, but with River, we almost always take it home and heat it up just
Yeah.
because that's what I was just going to say is I just don't, I'm not worried, like right now in my current life,
Mhm.
now talk to me in a couple of years and maybe I'll feel differently. If River eats all of the things on her plate, I'm
Mhm.
like totally amazed. So I'm
Right,
not overly
right.
concerned about her consuming
Eating too much.
I'm just
Correct,
not.
yeah.
That's not where we are. Now, I get your point about it sort of sets a precedent. Like
Right.
if she year after year, day after day sees these huge portions and thinks that that is the norm and then applies that in her
Mhm.
future life and her regular life, I could see where that is an issue. But it's just not, maybe we should be more concerned about portions for grown-ups.
I know.
That seems like a bigger issue to me at this exact moment. But, that's just that's where we are right now.
It's funny when I'm just thinking about this conversation. The last time we were out and we were at an event with some friends and got a food truck for the kids. And one of my kids asked for, they had nachos, good old fashioned, like it was like a sporting event. So like good old fashioned nachos with like the nasty yet delicious cheese on it.
Mhm.
We get it. And the kids were like, not our fave. And I was like, wait, what? We just got this like delicious thing of nachos that's like so terrible for you, but I would love to eat.
Yeah.
None of the kids liked it. And I was like, well, we got to take
Were
it
you
home.
like, okay, well, I'm going to.
Well, I definitely had a couple. And then I was like, well, we got to like take it home as leftovers. And then I'm like, I literally saw it in the fridge this morning. I'm like, why am I keeping this like nasty box of like, now like the cheese is already on the chips and it's like not going to work. No. But it's just funny. There is something for me. I do hate throwing away food. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, it just made me think of those nachos. I was also, you know, those things that your kids snub their nose at and you're like, dude, if somebody was telling me I could eat this.
You would eat it.
I would eat it.
Yeah.
Like how can you not enjoy
delicious cheese?
Nachos with cheese? Like what?
So good. What? Why didn't they like it?
I don't know. It's like whenever they get, you know, like a step up mac and cheese, like the fancier, and they're like, no, we don't want this. We want the normal kind. And I'm like, what? This is like this is mac gourmet. And cheese.
This is creamier. This is the better brand.
This is better. Like,
where's the craft?
No.
Yeah.
Kids, man. Okay, the last article of the day, sticking with the food theme here. This is from today. Mom's free Starbucks hack for kids stirs heated debate. The coffee company responds. I had no idea about this. Now, I will
admit. You didn't
admit,
know what a pup cup was?
No.
Oh.
Now, I will admit, we're not a big Starbucks family. You know, our kids may have gotten a cake pop once, but we don't frequent there. So the article talks about these pup cups. Now, apparently a cake pop is $5. These pup cups you can get, obviously designed for your dog, and it's just like a dollop of whipped cream, and it comes in a teeny little paper cup. Well, this mom says this is a secret menu item for dogs, but if you want, you can ask for it for your kid, or perhaps, I guess, lie and say it's for your dog, but obviously you shouldn't do that. But anyway, and she says you can actually even have them sometimes put like some sprinkles on top or like something for free, like a little extra, and the kids love it. She said that this is saving her so much money because if she needs a Starbucks and asks her kid with her, she can just get a pup cup for free instead of the $5 cake pop. And then she like appeases her daughter and
saves money.
Yeah. So anyway, the interesting thing was, you know, there was kind of this outcry about it. Like, oh, great. Now the secret's out. Is Starbucks going to like crack down on this and say like, no, guys, this is only for dogs? Well, Starbucks comes out and has a response to this and says, no, it's fine. Pup cups are free. They're free for kids. They're free for dogs, and they will always be free. We are not changing our policy based on this. So they're like, yes, do it. Give it to your kids. I mean, I have to believe that Starbucks is like, we make enough money. Like, give the kids a free dollop of whipped cream.
I applaud Starbucks because they understand the importance of some good PR.
Right. If you had come out and been like, what? You're giving these to the kids? Right. No more pup cups.
There are companies, I feel like, over the years who you were like, who's their public relations person? And like, please fire them.
So did you know about the pup cup?
I knew about a pup cup.
Okay.
I can't say that I've ever ordered a pup cup.
Would you get one
for River?
For River?
We're kind of the same way. Like she's had some cake pops before. Yeah. Yes, although I have to say I'm not overly worried about just getting her a cake pop. I mean, we go so infrequently.
Yeah.
But I do think it's like, I think good on Starbucks. I think the more interesting news about this is Starbucks' reaction, by the way.
Yeah,
it's like less interesting to me the fact that, you know, moms are arguing over whether or not this has ruined.
Well, it was funny. I'm just going to read what, you know, of course, as any of these things are, there's this huge response on social media or online. And one person responded, if you have fast hands, you can also grab the money out of the church baskets. Why not? Like all these moms are like, what? You are stealing from Starbucks. Like, how could you do this?
Stop it. These people are being, and take this the right way. You know what I'm going to say. They're being Karens. These are Karens.
Katie,
these are Karens. Which is there a better name for it?
Yes.
What was like
They're being jerks.
They are being jerks. They are being jerks.
Call it what it is. Don't use my name.
I'm sorry. But people at home, if you're listening to this, you know exactly what I'm saying. Like, why do you have to ruin it?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I'm saying?
And Starbucks has said it's fine. So it's fine.
So it's fine.
If you want to give your kids a little dollop of whipped cream at Starbucks, do it.
Yes.
I think it's interesting that they'll even like throw in some sprinkles or something, like a cherry.
Like, now I'm asking for a pup cup.
4 pup cups with some extras. Can this be like our meal for tonight? Does this count as dinner? Yeah. Okay, so I have a win that, of course, all my wins I feel like start off as fails. But this surprised you, Katie. I have not had my hair done.
Oh, right.
Like cut or highlighted in literally a year, like a full 365 days.
So the only reason this has come up is because like
I'm desperately trying to find a hairdresser.
Well, right. But also you and I have had this conversation because like every other day Apple sends me a picture of you and I, like all these montages. And I was like, Karen, look how blonde your hair is in all of these pictures. And you were like, yeah, that's because I haven't had my hair done in more than a year. And my response, what?
Yes.
No grays? I don't know. This is,
somehow
it looks good.
It does not look that good. But part of my problem, and I'll be honest, is that it's I don't know if this is just Asheville, but it is very hard to get in with a hairdresser. It's very hard to find a hairdresser. It's very hard to it's like a cleaning lady. It's like, it's hard to get in there, man. And when you do find, I've had like several friends recommend theirs.
Yeah.
They're booked. They're hard to get a hold of. Like you got to have like a secret passcode to get in with these people. And the places that I have been able to get into, it's so expensive. And I'm sorry. Last time I went, I paid $280
It's expensive
for a haircut and highlights. And I just have a really hard time forking over that much money. I mean, there's nothing particularly challenging about my hair.
I know, but I feel like
lighten it up and cut it off. It's a plain cut.
Yeah. In fairness, if you're these hairdressers, these salon people, they'd be like, well, let me tell you about, how expensive it is to like run a business and the cost of hair color.
Sure. And maybe I just need to bite the bullet and pay the $300. But I also I want a tip. And I'm like, by the time I leave there, I've spent $300
It's expensive
on a haircut and color. And I just have to believe that there's another way. Anyway, the reason this is all coming to a win.
Yeah, where's the win here?
Is I called a bunch of places the other day and near my house because I was like, it would be really ideal if it could be right by my house so it's also convenient. Anyway, I just got a response from someone who I think has like a schedule opening that works with my schedule. Katie, I think I'm finally getting my hair done after more than a year.
Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What are you going to get done?
Well, now that it's like such a big production, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be all different. What if I just did like a totally different, what if I came back with like bangs, red, strawberry blonde, short bob? I mean, who knows?
I will love it.
Possibilities are endless.
And are they affordable?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm still like trying to figure out the exact cost. And then I'm like, gosh, am I a cheapo that I'm like, I'm sorry, how much is it going to cost up front? But
no, I don't think so. I see people asking on Facebook, when you're in these mom groups on Facebook, people are always looking for a stylist.
Anyway, so I'm going to report back. And now that we're on YouTube with these episodes, maybe you'll see it next recording. But yeah, pretty exciting that I've even gotten so far that I have a hairdresser in mind at a salon that we're working toward finally getting my hair done for the first time in a year.
Okay. I'm excited for you. It feels so good to get your hair done, no?
I know.
But your girls have gotten trims. You can't go to the same place?
Yeah, I mean, they go to Great Clips.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. We're not taking them to the fancy place.
Great Clips is fine, but probably you don't want to get your
I do not want to go to Great. I mean, I am a cheap person, but not that. No offense to the Great Clips. We love the Great Clips for our kids. Anyway, all right. That is my pseudo win. I'm gonna keep
I love
you
it, and
keep
us updated.
Yes,
I need to know
how it goes.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys for listening.
And if you're a hairdresser out there in Asheville and you want to let me know.
This is Karen's plug here.
Right? Any hairdressers listening? No. Yes, we do. We hope you have a wonderful week. We hope, we hope the back to school shuffle is going well.
Yes. And
Dear friends who are already in the heat of it.
We'll have more on that the next time we sit down to record, River will be an official first grader. Dun, dun, dun.
And maybe I will have bought some school supplies.
And your hair might be purple.
Whole new world.
This
next
could be,
time.
it's going to be a whole new thing, guys. I'm sure at home you're waiting with bated breath.
Pins and needles.
Yeah.
See what happens. Okay. Have
Bye,
a great
guys.
one.
Anchor Moms is a Sinclair podcast produced out of WLOS in Asheville. We're your hosts, Katie Killen and Karen Zakalek. Anchor Moms is edited by Matthew Yates.
For more information on the topics discussed in this episode and to stay up to date on future episodes, follow us on Instagram at AnchorMOMS.
You can follow Anchor Moms on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Know a parent who could benefit from this week's Anchor Moms episode? Your recommendations help our show to grow, so spread the word.